was right to start looking into it.
But wait,
absolutely right.
They were. So they already knew that the documents that you attempted to make sound so sinister amounted to nothing, that Carter Page was not, in fact, spying for the Russian government, that he was not a mole. They knew that. They'd already... No, they knew that, and yet they got a FISA warrant against him already. Don't you think that the U.S. government, before it spies on its own citizens, ought to have a good reason, and that reason shouldn't be made up by a political activist like Peter Strzok or his girlfriend, Lisa Page?
So the fact that he'd been communicating with senior Russian officials, including members of their spy rings in Russia, and then he goes to Russia with the permission of Corey Lewandowski. He goes to Russia in 2016 during the campaign. I think the FBI would be suspicious, and I think that they should have been suspicious. And they should look into it.
Since you've raised this allegation, we have actually Carter Page in the studio. I want to ask him what these documents were. And I mean, let's get very specific here. You passed documents to a Russian spy. Did you betray your country? What were the documents? And why aren't you in prison right now if that was a felony?
Tucker, this is complete spin. I was teaching a course at New York University called Energy in the World in the spring semester of 2013. And I had a coffee with a diplomat from the Russian consulate. And I showed him. Who was a spy? I showed him a couple of the course materials from my academic course.
You gave him documents that he requested.
But wait, hold on, wait, Chris, before you impugn, slow down. Before you impugn his patriotism as an American, shouldn't you hear what the documents were? Wouldn't that inform your judgment?
Public information, yes.
The documents, that was a course description. Do you think if you passed, Chris Hahn, a course description for a public university course to a foreigner who you didn't know was a spy, would you be betraying your country if you did that?
I tend not to hang out with Russian spies because I'm trying to get a gas deal with their nationally owned gas syndicate.
So do you think that there is something unpatriotic? So you think there's something...
tend to love this country.
So you're saying that Carter Page doesn't love his country. Carter Page, where'd you go to college, by the way?
Look,
U.S. Naval Academy.
Oh, you went to the U.S. Naval Academy. So you're accusing him, Chris, of being unpatriotic. This man graduated from Annapolis and was a naval officer, but he's unpatriotic. He doesn't love his country. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what's in his heart. I have read the files on you, Carter, and I hope that you are a good person, and I hope that if you are a good person, all of this goes away from you. But from what I read, it is something that I would be concerned about if I was the FBI and you were on a presidential campain. I would be worried that the Russians would be infiltrating that campaign. And I think you yourself,
really quick,
Carter Page, as an expert in this, would agree with that.
Do you love your country, Carter Page?
I love my country, and actually all of my actions directly speak to that. And I think, you know, President Trump and his initiatives in terms of building a better structure for, you know, international relations, particularly U.S.-Russia relations, I think is going to show great love for the country.
Yeah.
And actually,
I love my country. I'm embarrassed to live here right now. This is a shameful moment in our country's history that we would do this to one of our citizens.
A great code word in the in that document from John Solomon today. They use the term, there's a new code word, dragon, right? And that reminded me of Dragon Energy, you know, that Kanye West was talking about. We're both Dragon Energy. President Trump's my brother. I love everyone. It's this very positive approach, trying to create a better world for all American citizens and, you know, better peaceful situation in the world versus, you know, I think what we heard from Mr. Hahn of just tearing people down, you know. And I think the funny part about it is going back to the Dodgy dossier, they were pulling these same, you know, falsehoods for.
You know, I don't really know about the dragon stuff, but you don't seem like a spy to me. I'm being told we're out of time, gentlemen. Thank you both. Whoa. Dan Bongino has served his country as well. He's a former Secret Service agent, now an NRA TV contributor, and he joins us now. Do you love your country, Dan? By the way, did you ever think, you were about the same age, did you ever think we'd get to a place where the McCarthy era sort of restarted again, but with a different cast, where people were accusing one another of not loving their country because they give a college syllabus to somebody who turns out to be working for the Foreign Intelligence Service without even the knowledge of the person